anything, rolling around town, swerving in the suburban thing. Wood grain, so under the wheel, 45 clock produce, so spin on knees, rolling on blunts, I'm in the shake.
Tell me, what do you think love is? Is it romance? Is it passion? A chemical rush in the brain? Or is it safety, a kind of emotional contract that says, you won't leave me, and I won't leave you? For most people, love is a very complicated arrangement. It's full of hope and expectation, longing and fear. We want to possess it, keep it, control it. But I'd like to suggest something radical. Love is not what you think it is. And the moment you try to hold it, define it, or bottle it up, it slips right through your fingers. You can't grab love. You can only fall into it. Like sleep, like trust, like death. Now, most of us have grown up with a very particular idea of love. We've learnt it from movies, songs, fairy tales, Instagram quotes. We think love is about finding the one. Someone who will make us feel whole. Someone who will fix the parts of ourselves we don't like. But here's the problem. If love begins as a need, it will always feel like a risk. Because the moment someone becomes your source of happiness, they also become your greatest threat. If they leave, your joy goes with them. So then, love becomes something anxious. You text and wait. You hold back and hope. You analyze every glance, every word, every silence. And instead of freedom, love becomes a kind of prison, a performance, a game you're afraid to lose. But that's not love, that's attachment. That's the ego saying, I will love you if you love me. I will give if I am sure you will give back. And this is understandable. We're human, we're scared, we've been hurt. But real love, the kind that transforms, expands, liberates it, doesn't play by those rules. Real love is not a transaction. It is not a bargain. It is not something you do. It is something you are. When you strip away the noise, the stories, the fears, you discover something miraculous. That love is not something you find, it's something you uncover. It's been there all along. You don't need someone to complete you. You are already whole. But when you forget that, you look for people to fill the gaps. And what begins as desire often becomes dependency. Dependency says, I need you so I can feel okay. Love says, I see you, I cherish you, but I do not need you to be whole. There's a great confusion between love and possession, between loving someone and trying to keep them. You see, to love someone truly is to allow them to be free, to see their path, even if it's different from yours, to support their becoming, not their convenience to you. But that scares people, because freedom seems dangerous. If I give them freedom, we think, they might leave me. Yes, but if you don't give them freedom, they were never really there. We say we want love, but often we really want control. We want certainty. We want someone to guarantee they'll never hurt us, never change, never disappoint us. But that's not love, that's insurance. Real love is a risk. It is a surrender. It's a decision to say, I open my heart not because I am sure you won't hurt me, but because I am sure I am whole, even if you do. Now, let me make something very clear. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse. This doesn't mean staying in situations that are unkind or dishonest. But it does mean this, that the purpose of love is not to avoid pain. The purpose of love is to grow. And growth often comes through discomfort, through misunderstanding, through rupture. The kind of love that expands you will not always be easy. It will stretch you. It will ask you to let go of who you thought you were. It will teach you how to sit with silence, how to listen, how to let someone be different from you. Love begins not when you find someone else. Love begins when you find yourself and then see that same light in another. It is recognition, not possession, not conquest. And so, if you are looking for love, ask yourself, am I looking for someone, or am I trying to avoid being alone? Because loneliness is not cured by a relationship. It is cured by connection. And connection begins here, where you are, with yourself, with the moment, with reality, as it is not as you wish it would be. Now, you might say, but I want someone to share life with. Of course, that's beautiful. But remember, partnership is not about two halves becoming one. It's about two whole people walking side by side, not leaning on each other in fear, but dancing together in freedom. Do you want to know if your love is real? Here's a simple way to tell. Do you want them to grow, even if it means growing away from you? That's hard, isn't it? But that's real, because love says, I want what's best for you, even if it's not me. Not as a performance, not as a martyr, but from the deep knowing that love is not ownership. Love is witnessing. Love is presence. Love is a gift, not a contract. When love becomes a contract, I do this if you do that, it dies. It becomes mechanical, predictable, and ultimately resentful. But when love is given freely, it becomes light, effortless, alive. It laughs, it listens, it lets go. Love does not say, you are mine. It says, you are you, and I am grateful to know you. So where does love come from, if not from others? It arises from awareness, from presence, from a state of being where you no longer believe you are incomplete. And when you are no longer trying to fix yourself or fill a hole, you discover that love simply is. It's like music. You don't listen to a song hoping it will give you something. You listen because you want to experience it. The same is true for love. But people today approach love like a transaction. I gave you attention, so give me affection. I gave you security, so give me permanence. I gave you vulnerability, so don't ever leave me. And so we turn love into a bargain. But love is not a business deal. It's not an emotional bank account. It is like a flame. If you try to capture it in your hand, you smother it. If you let it dance, it lights up everything. Love is also not something you can create from fear. That's what many people try to do. They fear being alone, fear being abandoned, fear not being enough. And so they try to love as a way to silence the fear. But love born from fear is not love. It is anxiety in disguise. True love arises when fear has been seen for what it is, a shadow, a ghost, something passing, and in its place there is spaciousness, peace, openness. From that openness, love simply flows. Not because it should, not because it's useful, but because it must. It is your nature. You don't need to learn to love. You only need to unlearn everything that has blocked your natural expression of it. Because when we were young, we loved without conditions. A child hugs, smiles, reaches out not to earn something, but because that's what's natural. It is only later that we are taught love must be earned, that we must be a certain way, or look a certain way, or achieve certain things to be worthy of being loved. And this, my dear listener, is the greatest lie. You are not loved because of what you do. You are loved because of what you are. And what you are is awareness, presence, life itself, wearing the disguise of a person. You are not lovable. You are love. But when you forget that, you chase love like a thirsty man chases a mirage, always reaching, never satisfied, always waiting for someone else to tell you that you are enough. But if you do not believe you are enough already, no one else's love can convince you. They can tell you, they can show you, they can pour all their affection into you, and still you will find ways to doubt it, to sabotage it, to push it away. Why? Because the most important love is not the love you get. It is the love you accept. And the only love you can truly accept is the one you give to yourself. This is not selfish. This is not narcissism. This is self-remembrance. It is the foundation upon which all other love rests. Now, here is something subtle but profound. The person you love most, are they truly free? Or do they carry the weight of your expectations? Are you seeing them? Or are you seeing the version of them you've created in your mind? Love without awareness becomes projection. You project your desires, your wounds, your needs onto the other person. And when they fail to meet your image, you suffer. This is not love. This is fantasy crashing into reality. To love someone is to see them clearly, not as a savior, not as a villain, but as a human being, with flaws, with fears, with their own path that may not match yours. And still you love them. not because they complete you, but because your love does not depend on completion. It flows from wholeness. And if they walk away, your love does not end. It remains like the fragrance of a flower long gone, because love does not cling. Clinging says, stay or I will suffer. Love says, go. If you must, I will still care. Do you see the difference? One is fear disguised as love. The other is love, free of fear. Now, I know some will say, but that's too idealistic. Real love hurts. Real love requires effort. Real love takes compromise. Yes, there is truth in that. But understand this. The pain in love does not come from love itself. It comes from attachment, from ego, from expectation. Love, in its purest form, does not hurt. What hurts is our resistance to change, our fear of loss, our desire to freeze what is always moving. You cannot freeze love. You can only move with it, like a river, like wind, like music. And so, if love changes, let it. If love fades, bless it. If love deepens, welcome it. But do not demand that love behave the way your mind wants it to. Let it breathe. Let it evolve. Because the more you allow love to flow, the more it flows through you, and the less you try to own it, the more you become it. This is the paradox. Love is not something you can hold, but the moment you let go, it holds you. Now, let me ask you something very human. Why do we assume that love must last forever to be real? If someone loves you deeply for a week or a year, and then that love fades, was it fake? Was it worthless? Or was it simply complete? You see, everything in this universe is impermanent. Everything. Waves rise and fall. Seasons change. Even the sun will one day burn out. So why should love be any different? The need for permanence for forever often poisons love before it even begins. We aren't truly present with the person. We're just measuring them against an imaginary future. Will this last? Will they stay? Can I count on them forever? But forever is an idea, a story. And love doesn't live in stories. Love lives in presence, in attention, in the here and now. If you can be with someone fully, in this moment, not clinging, not grasping, not projecting, that is love. And that love is no less real for not being eternal. In fact, it may be more real because it is awake. The rose that blooms for a single day is no less beautiful than the tree that lasts for decades. In some ways, it is more beautiful because it reminds us of the miracle of this instant. So perhaps it is not time that makes love deep. Perhaps it is presence. And presence can only happen when you stop trying to possess. Now, let's be clear. I am not saying we shouldn't make commitments or build relationships or cherish longevity. These things are beautiful, but only when they arise from freedom, not from fear. Freedom does not mean detachment. Freedom means choice. To love someone freely is to say, I choose you again and again, not because I need you, but because I see you and I want to walk beside you. And if they choose you too, not from pressure, not from guilt, but from joy, then something rare is born. Not just a relationship, but a sacred space. A space where two beings meet, not to fill holes in each other, but to reflect light, to explore mystery, to witness one another's becoming. That is love as a spiritual practice. Now, most people are not taught this kind of love. They are taught romantic love, which often includes jealousy, control, possession, and fear. If you love me, you'll never look at anyone else. If you love me, you'll never change. If you love me, you'll make me your everything. But that is not love. That is insecurity seeking shelter. And it cannot last, because people do change. Desires change. Life moves. So the question becomes, can your love be wide enough to include change? Can you hold someone even as they evolve without needing to anchor them to who they were? If not, then you are not loving them. You are loving your memory of them. And memories cannot hold you at night. They cannot grow with you. They cannot surprise you. Only the present can do that. Only the living person changing before your eyes. Love that is rooted in the present is alive. It breathes, it listens, it adapts. Love that is rooted in memory is brittle, it breaks. And so, to truly love is to remain curious. To say, I don't fully know you and I never will, but I will stay open. I will keep discovering. I will meet you again and again in this new moment. Can you see how different that is from most relationships? One is static, the other is dynamic. One tries to lock love in a box, the other lets love be a dance. And in that dance, there will be missteps, awkward moments, times when you step on each other's toes. That's okay, because love is not perfection. Love is presence. It is not about avoiding discomfort, it is about staying present through it, not reacting with fear, but responding with honesty. Now, here's another common illusion, that love should always feel good. But real love doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels raw, vulnerable, uncomfortable, because real love touches the places in us we usually hide. It asks us to be seen, to be known, to be exposed. And that can be terrifying, but it is also liberating. Because when someone sees your depths, not just your smile, but your sorrow and stays, you begin to understand, I am lovable not just when I am strong, but also when I am soft. Not just when I'm successful, but when I'm stumbling. Not just when I'm happy, but when I'm human. And that, dear one, is real love. It is not an escape from life. It is life, reflected back to you in all its beauty and mess and mystery. And when you see that, you can stop performing. You can stop trying to earn love. You can just be. And being in its purest form is love. So then, what do we do with all this? What do we do when we realize that what we've been calling love was often something else? A craving, a dependency, a story we told ourselves to avoid loneliness. Well, first, we don't blame ourselves. No one taught us this. Most of us were raised in a culture that sells love like a product. Songs say we can't live without it. Movies tell us it has to be dramatic and painful. Stories say it's something you find in someone else. But you are beginning to see now that love is not something you find. It is something you uncover. And it begins with the self. You see, if you cannot sit quietly with your own being, if you cannot feel peace in your own breath, your own stillness, your own company, then you will carry that restlessness into every connection. You will try to get others to give you what you've denied yourself. Their presence becomes your medicine. Their absence becomes your suffering. And that is far too much to ask of another soul. No one can be your salvation. No one can fill your emptiness permanently. That is your work. But it is beautiful work. It is sacred work. To sit with your fears, your ache, your longing, not as enemies, but as teachers. To look at your own loneliness and say, I see you, you are part of me, but you do not define me. And slowly, something changes. The ache softens, the grasping fades, the heart opens. And from that openness, love flows naturally, not from need, but from abundance. And when you love from abundance, it is no longer about getting something. It is about giving something beautiful without expecting anything in return. Now that kind of love might sound unrealistic, too pure, too lofty. But I assure you, it is not. It is your true nature. Before you were wounded, before you were taught to compare, compete, and cling, love was already there. Look at a baby. They smile at strangers. They reach for connection. They don't hold grudges. That capacity is still in you. It's just been buried, covered in layers of pain and defense. But it can be uncovered. And that uncovering, that returning, is the real journey of love. It is not about finding the one. It is about becoming the one not for someone else, but for yourself. And then, when you do meet someone, you do not ask them to complete you. You do not place the burden of your happiness on their shoulders. You simply walk beside them, in freedom, in joy, in truth. And if their path takes them away, you bless it. Because love does not chain, it does not demand, it trusts. And yes, that means love sometimes hurts. But the hurt is different. It is not the hurt of abandonment or rejection. It is the ache of the heart expanding, of layers falling away. It is the pain of becoming more real. And from that pain comes beauty. So when you love someone, don't say, "You are mine." Say, "You are free. And while you are here, I will see you fully. I will not mold you into my image. I will not reduce you to a role. I will not expect you to carry my wounds. I will meet you as you are. And when the moment comes to part, whether after a day, a year, or a lifetime, I will not curse you for leaving. I will thank you for showing me myself. That is the highest form of love. It is not romance. It is revelation. And now, my friend, I leave you with a question. Can you love even when it's uncertain? Can you love even when it might not be returned? Can you love not for what you'll get, but for what you become? If so, you are free. Because real love, not attachment, not fantasy, not fear, real love is the recognition that we are not separate. We are waves in the same ocean, sparks from the same fire, eyes through which the universe beholds itself. And when you see that, truly see it, every act becomes an act of love. Not because you try, but because that's what you are. So go, love freely, love fully, not just people, but life itself. Love the mess, love the mystery, love the rise and fall, love the ones who stay and the ones who leave, because none of it is against you. It's all an invitation to return, to yourself, to this moment, to the truth that was waiting underneath it all. You are love. You've always been. And that is not what you think. It's what you feel when the thinking finally stops.
Much respect to the family. I thank you all for tuning in. The time right now is 11:25 a.m. East
At
Coast.
the time, my schizophrenia delusions and hallucinations were full blown. I thought people were out to get me. I thought most people were against me, including my parents. I knew I needed a change.
Would you say you're in a hurry? Not just today? Tell me, what do you think?
Have you ever noticed that while other people
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep on listening briefly. Respect to you all. I'm only here to provide something that's a little more chill, a little more laid back and relaxed. All right. Let's go ahead and see what we got on this next one.
have you ever noticed that while other people seem to navigate the world with emotional armor, you feel everything with an intensity that sometimes feels unbearable, as if you were born without the protective skin that shields others from the energies around them? Before we dive into Carl Jung's revolutionary discovery about why your sensitivity is actually a higher form of strength that could change your entire relationship with yourself, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. What you're about to learn will transform how you see your most criticized trait forever. Carl Jung spent over 5 decades studying human consciousness, and one of his most profound revelations was that sensitivity isn't a weakness or defect that needs to be overcome. It's actually an advanced form of psychological functioning that allows certain individuals to perceive and process information at levels that most people cannot even imagine. This discovery is absolutely crucial for you as an INFJ, INFP, INTJ, or INTP, because you've probably spent your entire life being told that your sensitivity is a problem. You've likely been advised to toughen up, grow thicker skin, stop being so emotional, or learn to care less about things that don't directly affect you. But Jung understood something that most people still don't grasp today. He realized that your sensitivity isn't a bug in your psychological programming. It's a feature. It's not something that makes you weaker than others. It's something that makes you capable of perceiving and understanding aspects of reality that remain completely invisible to less sensitive individuals. Think about this for a moment. When you walk into a room, you don't just see the furniture and the people. You sense the emotional atmosphere. You pick up on tensions, unspoken conflicts, hidden attractions, and subtle power dynamics that others remain completely oblivious to. You can feel when someone is lying, when they're in pain, or when they're pretending to be something they're not. This isn't imagination or overthinking. This is advanced pattern recognition. Your nervous system is literally processing more information than the average person's nervous system can handle. You're operating with enhanced sensory and intuitive capabilities that allow you to gather data from sources that most people don't even know exist. Jung called this phenomenon psychological differentiation, and he understood that it represents a higher level of consciousness development. Just as some people have better eyesight or hearing than others, some people have more developed psychological perception. You happen to be one of those people. But here's where it gets really interesting. Jung discovered that this enhanced sensitivity isn't random or accidental. It serves specific evolutionary and psychological purposes that benefit not just you, but society as a whole. Your sensitivity makes you capable of fulfilling roles and functions that less sensitive people simply cannot perform. As an INFJ, your sensitivity allows you to understand people at depths that seem almost supernatural to others. You can perceive someone's true motivations, their hidden fears, their unexpressed potential, and their authentic self beneath all the masks and personas they wear. This makes you incredibly valuable as a counselor, advisor, or guide for others who are struggling to understand themselves or their relationships. Your sensitivity also gives you access to what Jung called the collective unconscious. You can sense patterns and trends in human behavior before they become obvious to others. You can feel when something is shifting in the cultural or social atmosphere. This prophetic quality isn't mystical nonsense. It's the result of your ability to process subtle signals and patterns that others miss entirely. As an INFP, your sensitivity connects you directly to the realm of values and meaning. You can feel when something is authentic or inauthentic with remarkable accuracy. You can sense when actions align with stated values and when they don't. This makes you a natural guardian of integrity and authenticity in a world that often prioritizes convenience over truth. Your emotional sensitivity also allows you to understand the full spectrum of human experience in ways that less sensitive people cannot. You can empathize with perspectives and experiences that are completely foreign to your own life. This makes you capable of bridging differences between people and helping others feel understood and accepted. As an INTJ, your sensitivity manifests as an acute awareness of systems, patterns, and inefficiencies. You can sense when something isn't working optimally long before the problems become obvious to others. You can feel the weak points in organizations, strategies, or ideas with remarkable precision. This makes you invaluable as a strategic thinker and system optimizer. Your sensitivity to possibilities and potential futures allows you to anticipate consequences and outcomes that others cannot see coming. You can sense when current trends are leading toward problems or opportunities that won't become apparent for years. This prophetic quality makes you an excellent long-term planner and visionary leader. As an INTP, your sensitivity shows up as an intense awareness of logical inconsistencies and conceptual problems. You can feel when something doesn't make sense, even before you can articulate exactly what's wrong with it. You can sense gaps in understanding or flaws in reasoning that others completely overlook. This makes you an exceptional analyst and problem solver. Your sensitivity to truth and accuracy drives you to keep questioning and refining your understanding until you reach genuine clarity. You can't just accept surface-level explanations or conventional wisdom if it doesn't feel right to your sensitive analytical faculties. This makes you a natural researcher and knowledge creator. Do you see the pattern here? In every case, your sensitivity isn't making you weaker or more vulnerable. It's giving you access to information and insights that less sensitive people simply cannot obtain. It's providing you with capabilities that are rare, valuable, and desperately needed in our world. But Jung also understood why sensitive people often feel like their sensitivity is a curse rather than a gift. The problem isn't with your sensitivity itself. The problem is that you're living in a culture that doesn't understand or value sensitive perception. You're surrounded by people who operate at much lower levels of sensitivity, so they can't appreciate or even recognize the information you're constantly processing. It's like being the only person in a group who can see colors, while everyone else sees only black and white. They don't understand what you're talking about when you mention the subtle differences between shades of blue. They think you're making things up or being overly complicated. They might even suggest that you stop paying attention to these color differences because they're not practical or important. But the problem isn't that you're seeing too much. The problem is that they're seeing too little.
My mic is muted.
I'ma get mine. Get yours, nigga, cause I'ma get mine. Today gon' be a good day. Jack gon' keep it playing from the Genesis. As I'm blowing dope, being broke, my only nemesis. Remember when it wasn't all good, I used to reminisce. Felt like I was going through hell with no deliverance. Niggas throwing salt in the game, condoning ignorance. But when it's really in you, not on you, we know the difference. Nigga ain't no willing and dealing, we really killing shit. My brother passed a shooter like Luca, he gave me 10 assists. Nigga, I was Dennis before you knew what a menace is. Now I just spread love to these bitches, ho, I'm a feminist. Way they running back to the dick, they think they Emmitt Smith. No real player gon' break it, that shit be imminent. Yeah. Nigga, we was trapping out the tenement. Niggas ain't hard, they just loud, them niggas impotent. Ain't in it for the glory, my life story is intricate. Don't crash out for the money and watch the niggas you get it with. I say it all, cause I'm past the point that I'ma play with y'all. And as the president, I'ma have to revoke your player card. Don't think the nigga ever was real, and he gon' stay a fraud. Don't think a nigga bluffing is not nothing to break them all. Saquon, ho, it's not nothing to shake them all. With no street clothes on my bed, ho, better take them all. Just get that cheese, breaking that bread, and I can stay involved. Wanna look sweet in my side seat, got to pay the
I
cost.
got dope and cheese, I'm smoking G's. While I was scaling dope and weed, y'all been yelling broken knees. You gon' do it, baby, do it, gotta hold and squeeze. For real, it's cold out here, one of you hoes gon' freeze. Rob the reverend, call the blessing, hold your nose, don't sneeze. Poop, nigga. Oops, nigga. Pull up in that big shit like I'm too big for that coupe, nigga. Too legit to quit, no, I'm just too legit for you, nigga. Twin Towers feel the power when we speaking, nigga. Cope like I was in the ghost with Tommy Egan, nigga. If your bitch looks suspicious, she probably creeping, nigga. If you heard the shit before, it's probably beating, nigga. Don't ask me about no money, I'ma tell you, let me hold something. 60K and debt be walking around like I don't owe nothing. So-and-so got shot up, I just act like I don't know nothing. I call love, but we make a hit and this a home run. Clean up in the kitchen, we can't have no dirty dishes, cause it's roaches outside and we cooking if they don't sniff it. Took a shot in the dark, I just went for this shit. Why I aim for the stars, go forward and get nothing. Somewhere there's a young nigga on the same thing. Suggested advice, I tell him do better. Baby mom pregnant, I was turning 18. Ain't even focused my mind to getting cheddar. So I quit this rap shit, quit chasing my dreams. Fuck it, get money off of hoes and the fiends. Fuck it, get money, then turn around, blow it. If I was my plug, man, I wouldn't even throw it. Maybe I would get money, you know it. Really had the city for some summers with the lows, yeah. Going down the wrong way, niggas getting smoked, yeah. I ain't even tell you about the times I was broke, yeah.